Yo guys, what's up? I'm gonna be watching Arcane Bridging the Rift Part 1. Someone mentioned like a metaphor name for this is Arcane 1.5. So if you liked Arcane the show, and I loved it, I bat chest every time I hear about it. I really liked watching it. It's part of the reason why I tried League of Legends in the first place. Then supposedly, this is really, really good. Let's take a look at it. Some scenes contain flashing and strobing. Oh yeah, I love strobing. I'm Dutch. DJ Chesto. When you're going to change the world, don't ask for permission. Arcane Season 1, Episode 2. True. Will I get spoiled to Arcane if I watch this? Yes.
With League,
probably.
the thing is that you play these characters over and over and over. Hundreds, in some cases, thousands of hours people sit with these characters.
I'm actually just messing around in the jungler right now.
Who are you playing?
Mordekaiser. Because he's heavy metal.
Is it right?
They're always in this one map, you know, in this one environment. And you start to wonder, like, where do they sleep? What do they eat? What is their normal life like? You know, like, what kind of families would they have? We knew Arcane was going to be the very first deep story expression of League of Legends.
Christian
There's
showrunner.
enough video games where the audience...
Okay, I didn't know this guy, but knowing that he made it and he made the story, I can say I probably like him. I like his work. Yeah, because it sounds like he had a very liberal expression possibility with how he's going to tell the story. I don't know how much Riot was involved. I'm hoping to find out how much Riot was involved, how much freedom they gave. I want to understand that creative process of being given the reins of rewriting League's story and rewriting Runeterra's lore and how closely that went together with Riot. I'm super interested about that.
asked for a movie or a show for years and years and years, and then they make it, and then it sucks. And then guess what? People stop asking. We were afraid of that. We were like, if we make something that isn't at least good, then we're really, really harming the League IP.
Is he talking about Dota's Dragonblood? I don't know if Dota's Dragonblood was out when Arcane was being made. Because, to be honest, I don't think Dota's Dragonblood did damage to the Dota IP. I think it is even worse than invoking anger and ridicule. It's indifference. I don't think most people saw it or associated much with Dota. But if anyone here in chat thinks Dota's Dragonblood is a B+ or an A+ in grading, I will try to watch it again. I couldn't handle it right after finishing Arcane, but if you think it's at least an A+ or something, then I'll try to watch it again.
You know the phase.
No, okay.
Trying to wrap up season 1. This is Echo with
Without hair.
Just oh yeah, without hair, right? I forgot. Here.
He will be the worst kept secret of the show. Everyone will know it's
Well-
Echo when they see him with the mask on. I mean,
You think?
yeah, of course.
In the trailer, I've seen like several videos, people analyzing it, and
There
they're
already
like,
is-
"Oh, this
there's already
character
people that say that it's
is
Echo."
absolutely not Echo."
well,
I was
but
like,
okay,
yeah.
but so the second they see that he has the pocket watch,
Ah, true,
everyone
yeah.
knows he's like the you
Yeah.
know the boy who shattered time. I mean,
That's right.
hey, how are you? I remember you showed me that we built.
The head is not connected. Sorry about it. Fanny Sule baby. Sexy drool. Oh, I see. Okay, all right. Now, there we go. Sexy drool. So they think about these things. They plan these things.
Like a special rig on Jinx, you can kind of control going her face from going looking more
yeah,
childish to like
yeah,
the,
yeah.
You have that somewhere to pull up?
Yes. So when we first got the first rig of Jinx, the idea was to try to connect her somehow visually to what she was as a kid. It's wonderful.
So they did the eye thing. Yeah. By the way, the eyes are... Isn't that crazy? Like, the eyes are unusually big on a face. Just compare the proportion of our eyes. It took me a long time to realize that, like, cartoons were doing this. Anime was doing this. Right? But it just looks normal. Isn't that weird? Like, it looks normal. And I also don't think this is something that people are going to want to emulate. But maybe I'm underestimating humanity. Maybe some people see this and they're going to be like, I want to have big eyes like that too. Operate on me, doc. It looks pretty. Yeah, big eyes are like show interest in us, right? If someone has big eyes, look at how attractive I look now, right? I am interested in you, and that makes you feel good, right? Yeah. Monka S. Okay, maybe it doesn't work on me. I don't know.
Face, bigger eyes, sadder look. We didn't want the typical like crazy girl laughing around like the Joker and just making no sense. We really wanted to make her feel like deranged and emotionally affected by what she went through.
And they did a damn fine
kid.
job.
I think we were a little bit worried about, you know, when we get to the adult Jinx, that we just lose that, like, I don't know, that beautiful little soul that just just tries to prove to her older sister, like, hey, like, I can do this, you know, like, believe in me. I think we should never work on a project that doesn't offer us something personal to explore.
Wow. You can only feel that if you're good at what you do. If you are good at what you do, then you can have demands or conditions to your profession where not only are you getting paid for what you do, but also you are getting personal satisfaction and it becomes a journey of discovery. But I would argue that in the arts, essentially I am also a producer of the arts, even though it can be difficult to see that sometimes when you see what I put out. But I am a producer of the arts as well, you know, entertainment industry, and they are doing arts, and it's given value by people wanting to watch it. If people don't want to watch it, then it loses its value. Unlike like a toilet brush, which always has value to someone, because you need to take off that deep cake you've been building up over the week. So I do think that as an artist, to a degree, you do need to have that kind of feeling of making a personal journey, of working on something that is meaningful to you, because I believe that a artist that feels like they're working on something brain dead or something that goes against their soul will put out something that needs to be cleaned up with a toilet brush.
I think for the story that we have, it's a story about family, it's a story about siblings that have a hard time forgiving each other. It's a world of technology kind of taking over and us feeling like we're losing control over it. I think that those are just things that we as people think about and care about, you know. I think we want to also ask some questions that we think should be asked without necessarily giving you the answer, but at least asking like, hey, does a person, you know, like Jinx deserve a second chance?
Does she? I think generally yes, but not with me. But to someone else.
Can a monster ever be forgiven? I don't know. If you can figure out, like, what is something that if you love it, a lot of people would love it, that's where you
What
really
did she
should go
do?
hard.
Well, spoilers about Arcane, the show, okay? But what did she do? Well, firstly, she tried to help her friends who got in all kinds of trouble with the law. But the law is actually not the law, it's just the other side. All right, so her faction got in trouble with the other side, and they were going to be like in all kinds of trouble, and then it came to a fight because they messed with the wrong rich kind of people, and they messed with the underworld, and there's all kinds of like dangers around them. And she always tried to help the fight, but they're like, hey, you can't help, you're too young, you're too clumsy, etc. Plus your bombs don't even work. So she keeps trying to use bombs to help her friends, and they don't really work because she's a stupid kid and nobody taught her how to do anything, right? And then at some point she finds some kind of chemtech magic and she puts it into her bombs, and then suddenly they work. But they work a little too well. Plus she's not very good with aim, so she's trying to save like her adopted daddy and her sister, and so she throws some bombs and she ends up eliminating the threat. So essentially she helped, but she also ends up damaging allies. There was friendly fire, right? And then they blame her for being so clumsy and for like doing friendly fire. Kind of like me in Counter-Strike, right? When I threw the grenade and the smoke and the flash and even the high explosive bomb grenade. Yeah. So then they're like, oh, you're so jinx, right? You're so unlucky. Bad things happen when you're here because you're too clumsy and too young and so on. But all she wanted to do was help. So then her own friends and family kind of turned their back on her in more than just we're giving you a few minutes timeout. But they actually, like, when she needed them most, when she was most scared, when she was most hurt, she was left behind. And she felt so abandoned, and she didn't have any sense of belonging anymore. She was traumatized by everything that happened, and then she hurt the ones close to her, and then they said some really mean things about her during not just that moment, but also before, things she overheard. And so her confidence was an all-time low. She's like not even a teenager, she's like a preteen, and now she has a feeling of being completely unloved and unwanted. And then suddenly someone came in. He's an underworld guy, and he ends up kind of adopting her. And he's not just the opportunist wanting to have another slave in his empire. He actually starts caring for her, even though he's kind of a bad guy, right? And then she ends up being taken in, being given a place of privilege within his empire, being given a place of protection within his empire. Their relationship is not without trouble, as adopted daughter-ish, adopted father-ish, but at least she has a belonging now. But she's also deeply traumatized, and she's not seeing a therapist for it. So she ends up becoming this crazy bomb girl, basically. Did I get anything wrong? That's kind of it, right? Oopsie, did I just kill my father? Yeah. So does she deserve a second chance? I'm not sure she's asking for one. So he's asking, right? But it's more of like a moral question. She's not really asking for it because now she's a full-blown rebel. You forgot the murder where she kills many people?
And I think that's what we tried with Arcane. We'll see, but...
Is this a spoiler-free recap, or have you forgotten enough for a rewatch? I don't mind. I don't know if it is spoiler-free or not.
I think it has potential.
Man, North America is such a beautiful continent, huh? With the nature.
How you doing, bud? The skinks. I've had them for 23 years now. I got them when I was 15 and definitely old enough to make that kind of commitment. The thing when you work on story is that, just generally speaking, it never stops. I feel like I just have voices in my head that argue a lot, and every now and again, something they say makes sense, and then you write it down. And that's basically, that's how the characters happen. These are obviously League of Legends characters mostly. I was original creative on like Riven up there, and Ahri, and let's see, Wukong, Nautilus, Lee Sin, and then there's just, I don't know, that guy I thought was cool.
I saw that, Jeb Crab.
So I did. I did.
Wait, hold
go
on.
To school for
I want to
writing.
see his setup again. Okay, this mat helps to balance out. Yeah, we have a similar mat, not quite like this. We have a mat like this in our kitchen to like have more balancing of your joints as you stand on a nice soft warm mat compared to the cold floor. He's got is that his skinks behind him? I suppose. Yeah. Standing desk. Cable management, a little bit messy, but not too bad. It's hard to hide all this. Usually cables aren't long enough. Very nice view. Holy crap.
So I did go to school for writing. You know, I went out to LA. One of the things that I stumbled upon was a truly bare bones, desperate sounding.
Do you have something like that for your feet? Well, I use these memory foam slippers when I walk around the house. They're they're nice.
Craigslist post for a video game startup. My first and consistent reaction to that was this company has no chance.
Clash of Fates.
I started playing in beta, and I found, the job offering to work in customer support at Riot on Craigslist, which led me to be interviewed by Alex.
Yep.
I thought Craigslist was just for like selling old junk in your garage, not to be some kind of surrogate LinkedIn. Yeah, that's surprising. So, if you're looking for people to recruit, you just put out feelers everywhere. Surprised.
For the record.
And I think League was just really fun because it felt like there was kind of like the fingerprint of the people who made the game was so palpable when you played it because the characters were so quirky, they were so different. You could
So
just kind of tell people were just
quirky!
enjoying
Same as me!
making these characters.
Early Champ concept meetings were so fun. We only had the one conference room, and it would just be everyone at the company who liked that, who was enthusiastic about it, just comes in, and you'd show up with something, right? You'd be like, here's this sweet art that I found, or here's this idea that I just jotted down.
That
How
I
do we turn that
found?
into a champion? I think the reason that we focused on Jinx was because...
Yo, where's this version of Jinx?
Because, I don't know, Jinx just always had this spirit at the company. Katie D'Souza did this, and it wasn't a sketch, it was like a full concept of what she called Psycho Arsenal. It was not so different, honestly, from what Jinx looks like right now. You know,
This angle is very hard. I call this the unrealistic best of both worlds angle. I don't think it's even really possible. I've seen my dog make this angle, but they're more flexible.
the long pigtails and just kind of like guns all over the
The
place.
spine breaker
I mean,
angle,
everyone
yeah.
just fell in love with it immediately.
Vi and Jinx were characters that Alex and I always really liked.
Bravo, sis.
And we worked on them together on, the different kind of teams.
In movies and shows, they always show that you can just do a hilt of the gun slam on someone to knock them out. And I always wonder, how do you know how hard to hit someone to achieve the knockout with a single hit, but not to do lasting damage, especially when it's someone you actually care about? It's like, no, I need to do this alone. I know you would just want to come with me. Smack. Dead. Oops. You need to aim for the nape. Like in Attack on Titan. You can straight up murder them right there. Don't you think it's just plot armor for shows? Just keep trying till they knock. I wish a show would actually do that. A non-comedy show, right? Just a little comedy in a horror film. It's like, I know you would just want to come with me. Sorry, sis. What are you doing? I need to do this alone. No, I need to come with you. I don't want you to be at risk. You don't think I'm at risk by you hitting me on the head 3 times? Trust me, it's better this way. Smack! Okay, it worked.
Alex was working on like the characters themselves, like their creative, their voiceover lines with, other writers.
She's such a loser. Always ready to cry.
And I worked on the music and then the cinematic on Jinx. So on the, I want to try something fun right now. So fun should have some kind of spike up, like the screechy.
Okay, I'll try. Come on, shoot faster. Just a little bit of energy. I wanna try something fun right now. I guess some people don't know. Let's build this illusion.
Okay, I'll
And you know,
try.
when Christian-
And then she just absolutely lets rip. This is cool. I did not expect that. I thought she was gonna do like a kitty voice, but here she is doing a metal screamo. It's really cool.
Get jinxed. That was, the most storytelling I think we'd seen in a video at that point.
I've seen it before,
Arcane
yeah.
started when Alex
You
and
never
I
saw that Jinx music video, did you? I did watch it offline, without chat, alone.
sat down together and were thinking what the devil we should be doing next.
Riot in general kind of struggled to put out long-form narrative content. Our goal was to have deeper storytelling, right? To not just do video game action. Or as we at the company tend to call it, fight porn.
Do they? I wonder why.
I don't know if we call it that anymore, but that's what it always was.
That was that boy club culture they had.
I just always had this sense of obligation to the players, It just felt like we created these characters and the players answered us by spending so much time with them and loving them, and it just felt like they deserved to have better stories.
Whenever Jinx kills someone, she actually gets kind of like amped up. If basically the promise is
It
like...
would be nice to find some kind of thread, some sort of like emotional question thread.
We were just kind of talking, man, how fun it would be to make something that's a bit bigger, and the animation space and the story space. I always thought that if there's any superpower that we had in the beginning to make Arcane a thing, it was whether or not we could really unleash the potential of Fortiche.
Man, those Frenchies, huh? Paris. Smelly Paris. Only place I ever saw a live mugging. Which is therefore indicative of everything.
Le problème, c'est de finir après avec un shot final où t'as Rémi qui serait beaucoup trop à gauche et lui qui serait beaucoup trop à droite, quoi.
À gauche.
The Buddha is the yes man of the company. He's saying yes to everything. Is this a good idea? Yes, it is. Can I do it? Yes, you can.
We do a mix of 2D and 3D. Because the 2D effects are done in 12 images by second, then and the animation it's 24, like all the movie. So you have a mix of style, geek with dirty.
Hard at work.
Yes.
C'est très bien. C'est l'énorme lentille. Typiquement, moi, je suis pas fan de la 3D pure et je trouve le style très intéressant, quoi. C'est plus organique.
Organique? I wonder why it's more...
How do you texturize something to look like a painting?
We paint.
Best answer.
So let's say you have like a character smoking a cigarette. Instead of having like a 3D smoke being simulated by 3D tools, it's actually 2D drawn frame by frame, and gets this almost cartoony effect.
Huh.
In fact, I start to do this 2D mix and 3D since 20 years with music video.
Why?
On est en train de maltraiter.
Oh, that makes sense. That he started developing this style in order to depict the feeling of being at a rave, plus anything you might be consuming at a rave. That actually makes sense, to show a trip.
For me, it's a new way to do animation. It's not anime, it's not full CG, it's a mix of everything.
feeling good about season one?
This is a. I've been in documentaries before. Not to mention they're both French and talking English. This is the director of a documentary saying, "Can we get a little conversation of the two of you to form some connecting glue for somewhere in between this documentary? Can the two of you sit over there and just talk something about season one?" And then you start saying it, and it sounds so fake and contrived. I can show you the parts that were not authentic in my documentary, Beyond the Game, the Warcraft 3 documentary from 2K8. It's like, it's so staged. So how do you feel about season one? Yeah, I think it's gonna be nice.
Are you feeling good about season one?
It's an interview right now.
Oh, it's the camera asker asking him. Okay, all right.
Oh yeah. I'm not in the good mood.
Well, let's say. Okay. His answer is authentic, but the question is like it's trying to create the interaction. I guess it's already breaking the fourth wall because the camera asker is asking it. He liked answering that question as much as I liked answering that question for family videos. My family made a bunch of childhood videos when we're having like Santa Claus or Sinterklaas. Then we'd all be sitting around unwrapping gifts, and usually my dad would be filming and my mother would be asking questions. And she'll ask questions like, "Where are we, Manuel?" And then I'm supposed to say, "At our home." "What are we doing?" "Well, it's Sinterklaas and we're unpacking gifts." I hated those inauthentic setups. Like, I think we're better at making content now than those folks of mine. Just start filming and see what happens. Let everyone relax and forget about the camera. Usually you get better stuff, but might take a bit more time.
I met Arnaud in a party.
With a poopy old digital camera. Your family? Digital camera. Ooh, wealthy are we? Flaunting our wealth a bit.
I was doing fun, cool music video with no money.
Je faisais de l'animation, mais c'était tout le temps un peu expérimental.
I'm born in 2000,
bien en stop motion, mais
okay.
souvent avec une grosse partie quand même live action.
Cheers.
Ask Pascal a little bit.
As what?
Nothing.
Maybe another day.
They don't want to talk right now.
Drink. Maybe it's gonna be easier.
They had some challenges.
I met Pascal. He was the best guy for doing character in Paris.
When I was a kid, my dream was to make comic books or work on, for Marvel and stuff like that. I like characters. I like how you can bring personality and.
That looks
story.
like the Gorillaz guy.
I think back then I just found these tests that they would do where you could go like, man, like this looks different. This doesn't look like the typical expensive
So he made the Gorillaz characters?
Hollywood animation production. This looks very French.
I think he liked the mood
That's
because
cool.
it was more adult, more lighting with flares and haze and something more like a live-action movie.
She looks like
Fortiche from the very beginning had this very unique
Brad Pitt's girlfriend from Fight Club, a little bit.
approach to camera, making you feel like there's a person filming whatever's happening. There was an imperfection that could only be human in how it moved and how it felt.
I don't know about that. Well, this one's better looking, but also not real. Phew.
To be fair, the first answer when I went to the right leadership was like, I think we should make a TV show about our characters that is the highest budget ever spent on an animated series. It's going to be great. The first answer was, no, get out of the office.
Who recommended that?
It was when I went to the right leadership was like, I think we should make a TV show about our characters.
Oh.
That is
He's trying to get the job of his life.
the highest budget ever spent on an animated series. It's going to be great. The first answer was, no, get out of the office.
That was like oh crap, like Christian has showed up with those like bold ideas and bold asks before, you know, but this one was such a leap from sort of music video to like full animated show. It's so unbelievably daunting. And in the back of my mind, I'm just going, how am I going to talk Christian out of this? Like, how am I going to help him realize that like we're jumping the shark here?
And then I came back and said, okay, give me.
What's jumping the shark? Both in a metaphorical sense as well as in a literal sense. It's like trying to jump across where a shark is and he's going to bite you. You're going to hope you don't die. And look it up, yeah. Jumping the shark. A pejorative that's used to argue that a creative work or entity has reached a point in which it has exhausted its core intent and is introducing new ideas that are discordant with or an extreme exaggeration of its original purpose. The phrase was coined in 1985 by radio personality John Hain in a response to a 1977 episode from the 5th season of the American sitcom Happy Days, in which the character of Fonzie, Henry Winkler, jumps over a live shark on water skis. Okay, I see. It's quite specific. I get the reference now.
Give me like $2,000. They're like, okay, fine. And so we just started, you know, doing some concept art. It was like, okay, you know, this looks really cool, right? Yeah, this looks pretty cool.
I thought it was a great idea, but I also knew how difficult it was to pull something like this off. We have something called the video game curse, which is very few games have adapted into film and television well.
Yes.
One of the things that's really true that I think every creative can relate to.
Why is that? Why is that? It doesn't have to be that way. Why can't it be done? You know what I mean? Why can't it be done? You just need better vision. Just have better vision, right?
But that's simply not possible.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
Is a lot of great creative ideas, they're fragile. They start off as a dream and an idea and a vision, and they haven't been fleshed out necessarily.
Okay, it was a little bit more. Now we can explore some 3D models and everything. Like $5,000. They're like, okay. And
I don't remember getting any of this money.
Anyway, not to linger on this.
I don't remember getting any of this money.
Anyway, not to linger on this very unimportant.
You got $2,000.
All right, this is our first behind the scenes in the writer's room. Alex, what year is it?
1922.
While we were developing the story, we also started working with Fortiche on these little spikes, you know, of like, hey, what would it look like if Vi was just in her apartment in Piltover, and she's like venting about how Powder, her little sister, you know, is just always messing up. You know, it was just a test of like, hey, like, can we even do animation where acting feels good?
All you had to do was run, Powder. Didn't we spend a bunch of time preparing you for this? You and I?
In the back of my mind, I was going, I kind of hope this loses steam because this is so unbelievably ambitious. Like, I don't know how in the world we're gonna pull this off.
That's when I said, okay, could you give me like
$5 million?
It was like $65,000 or so.
Okay. I'm learning from this. If you ever have a plan and you wanna let's say get a budget of like $35 million. I don't know how much went into it. Just start small. It's basically microtransactioning the microtransactioner. It's genius. He is nickel and diming Riot, who nickel and dimes players on their cosmetics. He's turning around on them. But first you open the wallet, right? This is the psychology. 65K isn't much, honestly. Of course, it's nothing. Of course, no one is saying it's more, Navis. You start with 5,000 and then 65, and if they say okay to that, then you go to the 200K, then $1 million, 4.5 million, and then 90 million. He's edging them, yes.
and there was this fight scene. It was sort of this animation test with Jace and Vi on a rooftop. It was so sick, just in terms of how the characters were expressed and how they came to life.
Haha. I need to rewatch this.
Like all those little incremental tests they were just like, yeah, we need more of this.
I think that was the time when I think they realized.
This is not in the actual show. Oh, really? Wasn't it? It's a proof of concept animation. Ah, okay.
That I'm probably serious about this project. I said to them, well, I mean, you have concept art now for the characters, for environments, you have 3D models, you have animation tests, you have material that we've had developed for the pilot. And I was like, are we gonna do this or not?
I sort of think about it as like, oftentimes not knowing what we're getting into was an advantage, because I think if we did know, we would have said, there's no way.
I mean, animation tests, it was beautiful, right? But it was just a small snippet of what the full series would be, and there were so many questions about like, well, what is the full story?
To me, the stakes are really high because we want to be respectful of players' time and trust. I'd for sure much rather not do a show than releasing something that's just okay.
I don't know if anyone among Riot's leadership necessarily thought that we would definitely be able to do it, but I think they all understood that we just had to try. You know, I mean, like this was a bet. It was a risky bet. You just kind of have to, at some point,
you just gonna have
make
to
that bet. You know, otherwise, it's only gonna be ever a theory.
Fortiche was 5 people, so we had to build a studio of now 200, 250, 300
Holy
people.
shit.
Which is like, how do you build an animation studio? You know, we're a game company, how do you do that?
What?
At that point, Fortiche had produced 2, 3, 4-minute music videos.
Le pari pour Christian et Riot, c'était...
Oh my god. At this moment, Chris, the main narrator of the show, he's a musician. By now he works in Riot, but at this moment in time where he was pitching it to Riot, he was what? I didn't know that I thought Fortiche was already big, yeah. Christian. He was a musician. He said he started as customer support. Then he did stuff in the music department at Riot. Okay. So who put him in charge? No, he's not in charge. He just comes to them, to the founders, and says like, yo, we should work with the studio Fortiche to make a TV show. And then he hoisted upon Riot to make it by slowly convincing them, by wearing them down with his cool ideas. And he also hoisted upon Fortiche, who gratefully accepted probably, if maybe it was very stressful too, to turn from a 5-person company into 250. That's wild. Oh, now I know why they start with this quote. Don't ask for permission if you're gonna change the world. Now, it's not the whole world, of course, but I get it now, the quote.
C'était est-ce qu'on était capable de sortir 5 heures, 6 heures de...
But what do they do? What do you do with this company after they're suddenly 250 people? They can't go back to doing a 3-4 minute music video every now and then. Are they all temps? Or are they now forced to only do big projects? You make season 2, right? Sure. And then season 3 and 4. But then what, right? And do they do work for non-Riot? You'll find out. Okay, let's see.
Est-ce qu'on était capable de sortir 5 heures, 6 heures de films? Et non plus, on ne savait pas.
When I met Christian, I remember him talking about the character arcs and what's gonna happen in that episode, and I've already that in mind, and it's gonna be like so emotional. And I was like, dude, you're crazy. We haven't even started the first minute of the show. I don't think he was realizing what he was getting into, but I think he was a fool. But the excitement he had when he was talking about the show made the difference to me.
Even when there are a lot of question marks and obvious concerns, and on paper it's not supposed to work because the experience isn't there and the resume isn't there, like that's precisely when it's worth jumping into the deep end of the pool and learning how to swim.
Il y avait plus de peur pendant le test que finalement quand on a commencé à faire le pilote. C'est là où on a pu mettre tout ce qu'on avait un peu en nous, toutes nos références, où il y a eu ce côté, le côté geek, grâce à Christian et Riot, quand on a vu qu'ils nous laissaient les clés.
What do you mean, what's after that? The projects like this will take up to 10 years? Yeah. Sure. But then what? Oh yeah, I remember when they ran into this gang. Little comic relief fighting. Fortiche attracts France's top animators to join the project. They expand from a team of 30 to 100. I heard that sometimes motion cap is cheaper than animation. Than animating movement raw. 10 months spent animating first ep. Yeah, don't worry, I don't know what I'm gonna do in 10 years too.
Basically, we had the pilot, wrapped up more or less.
Playwright,
that was the time
MMO,
to
yes
start
you
working
do.
on the rest of the first season.
We had an entire arc for the first season, filled with moments.
Yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen with Gen AI, right? Generative AI. Everybody talking about it. I just realized, we probably all need to come up with private codes when we talk to our loved ones over the phone, especially for cold calls that are unexpected. We need to come up with private identifier codes, spoken passwords, to show that you're really talking to the person you think you're talking to. Your mother, your brother, your sister, your boyfriend, your girlfriend could call you, ask for money, they're in a bind, but it's actually an AI voice. I already do. Yeah, better start now. People are already aware of AI scams for the elderly. Yeah, elderly people are stupid, man. They don't know about the new technology. Yeah, but the mic's always on, Grubby. It listens. Yeah, but you can trust companies like Apple and Google. I mean, like other people, other bad actors.
Moments, lots of art, lots of exploration, different locations, different characters, and we were already feeling the pressure of the sort of pipeline rolling.
These episodes take a tremendous amount of time to animate, and once the episode is in various stages of animation, changes are possible, but any change is tremendously disruptive in terms of the amount of time and resources it takes to so you're kind of locked in.
So yeah, at some point, there was a meeting on my calendar, and I went to Brian's office, and there was like a bunch of people in there.
Oh shit!
He called me and told me like, hey, I just talked to Brandon and like everyone.
It was basically like an intervention meeting.
And by the way, that's what we did with everything.
I like how they use this to show what it was like for Chris. Man, what's this video about? It's kind of like the making of, the founding of the TV show Arcane.
Even a game, if we're like on the cusp of launching and we think it's not right, like we'll stop, we'll hold, we'll pivot, we'll cancel.
Perhaps it's time I cut my losses.
I mean, I think with everything creatively, you know, you're always kind of waiting for that hammer to fall. We wanted to make sure the story that players got lived up to their expectations. If we couldn't do that, then we shouldn't do that.
And at least they have people that understand the players, that know what the players would want. Is Grubby giving League a try? Yeah, I may try it, Dravenix. Do you think I'll like it? Arcane is related to League, isn't it? Yes, Arcane is built in the world of Runeterra, which is the world of lore where League of Legends is played in, yes.
The consensus was, you don't have the story yet, and it's not going to work, you know?
Difficult memories. Yo, how many parts are there? This was part 1. 5. All right. Cool. Yo, we need another app. I want to watch another app. Can we watch another app? Can we watch another? Okay, let's just do it.